because we're gonna record this one. This was gonna be one of my favorite, personal developments, and mainly because of the person we're gonna be going over is John C. Maxwell. If you don't know who John C. Maxwell is, um, yeah, John C. Maxwell. All you got to do is go to like the bookstores, and you'll see a whole section on John C. Maxwell. He does management books. He does leadership. He trains people, on leadership. So, and he was a former pastor, and then he went into profession of what he wanted to do with leadership and all that. What's crazy though is you're gonna hear some things. He's gonna go over the 5 levels of leadership, guys, and it's really really cool because I want you in this session. It's gonna be session 1. It's a long session, so we had to cut it to the 24-minute version. So it's a really long session, but there's some things that I want us to look at in this. Mainly number one, you're gonna know, what your leadership, what is key in leadership, right? So the 5 levels of leadership, you're gonna know why leadership is key. That's number one. You're gonna know what leadership level you are at right now. And I want you guys to rate yourselves honestly because I did. When I first saw this, and even now I'm rating myself, on leadership. And then also, you'll know after this, you'll know why I take the inner circle very seriously after this training that he's gonna do. It's actually a very, very good training. So there's 5 levels. We'll go over the levels. It may go kind of fast, so we'll do the best we can. But if not, I'll recap all the levels and all that right afterwards. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this. I am going to. Hey, there's Jessie. She back.
Hi, Jessie.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's go to the movies. Let's cue up the video. It's John C. Maxwell, guys. This is one of my favorite. Actually, it will be one of my favorite personal development sessions because of what he's going to go over, because this is so key in building your business and leading people, right? You guys that have teams, you're going to lead people. This is a key training. So guys, pay attention to what he's talking about here. Take some notes. And again, we're going to go to the movies. We'll be back. This is John C. Maxwell, 5 Levels of Leadership.
Hi, my name is John Maxwell, and I'm very excited that you're not only with me for this training tape, but for another one or two later on, because here's what I know. I'm going to teach the 5 levels of leadership. In just a moment, you're going to learn not only how to influence people, but how to grow in that influence. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a meeting and people were talking and you knew you had some good ideas, but somehow you either didn't speak up, or when you spoke up, it seemed like nobody was listening. And you thought to yourself, wow, I wish I could present a good idea that everybody would kind of take off on and I could truly kind of become a catalytic leader to that group. Well, I'm about to tell you how to gain your influence level to such a degree that when you speak, people listen. Better than that, when you lead, people follow. Hang on as I teach you the 5 levels of leadership. Every time you climb a step, you have put another foundation underneath your leadership belt. The key to getting people to be successful is to put them where their strengths are. Your team has to be equal with the level of your dream. Your future isn't based on your organization. Your future is Today, I would like to talk to you on the subject, the 5 levels of leadership. In my book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, I talk about the law of influence. The law of influence basically says the true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. You see, the number one question I think of a leader who really wants to lead others is this question: how do I increase my influence with people? In other words, very simple. If I'm to be a good leader, if I'm to be an effective leader, I have to influence people. And I spent a lot of time helping people understand that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, and that if you really want to increase your leadership ability, increase your influence ability. That's really key. In fact, I wrote a book a few years ago that just talked to you about how to increase your influence. It's called Becoming a Person of Influence. I talk about 10 ways to increase your influence in that book because I want to help people understand that as you increase your influence, you increase your leadership. Leadership's not title, it's not position, it's influence. Nothing more, nothing less. In this session, I'm going to share with you the 5 levels of leadership. And when I talk about the 5 levels of leadership, I could just as well be talking about the 5 levels of influence. I use those 2 words interchangeably. So for your notes and in your workbook, I'm going to walk you through the 5 levels of leadership, and I'm going to try to help you to understand how to go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4, someday eventually perhaps even be what I call a step 5 influential leader. Let's go to the first step. Let's go completely down to the ground floor. On level number 1, the key word is position. You see, at this level, you have a certain position. You have a job. You have a job description. You have a title. People have given you a position of which, in that position, you have certain rights. In fact, beside the first step, position, put the word rights, R-I-G-H-T-S, because what I want you to understand about level number 1 is, at this level, people follow you because they have to. In other words, they follow you because, you're the boss. You've got the paycheck. What is sad is, many, many times I run into people who think that if they have a position of leadership, that is the ultimate of leadership. But it's not. In fact, it's okay, but it's level number 1. It's where you start. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with starting at level number 1. We all start at level number 1. But what's sad is when I run into people who are stuck on level number 1. They're still trying to lead people by position. They're still trying to say, this is my job and your job is to follow me. And they're frustrated because what happens is people will follow you, but they don't want to follow you. They only do that because you have leverage on them. Let me ask you this question. How many of you have ever had a boss, ever had to follow somebody that wasn't a good leader? You know exactly what it's like. You hate it. You hate it because you maybe see farther than they see, you perhaps know more than they know. It's not any fun. And when you're at level number 1, it's a starting level, but that's all it is, and it's nothing more. So as I go over here to level number 1 for a moment, I want you to understand this. This is where we all start. If you have started there, it's okay, but you don't want to stay there. This is the foundation of your influence. This is the foundation of your leadership. It certainly is not the end. So let's go to level number 2. You see, level number 2 is the permission level. And at level number 2, the permission level, the key word is relationships. It's at this level that people follow you, not because they have to. They're now following you and they're following me because they want to. This is a wonderful level to be on. Let me explain this level for a moment. You see, at this level, you like people and people like you. I found out a long time ago that people won't go along with you if they can't get along with you. And again, every one of us have known people that we worked with or worked for that we didn't like. And it's not any fun to follow people that you don't like. It's just not any fun. And yet I have found that at this level number 2, they begin to like you and you begin to like them. And sometimes, you know what, I sometimes call this the second mile level, because at level number 2, people stay longer. Maybe they stay after work. If you're in a major project, They don't go home at 5. They may stay till 7, 7:30 at night. They may come in the next morning at 6:30 in the morning. Why? Because there's a connection. There's a relationship. They like you. You like them. They'll go the second mile with you. It's a wonderful level to be on. I want to say one more thing about the second level before we go to the third. Whenever I talk to people who want to increase their leadership and want to certainly increase their level of influence, I share with them that they need to work hard on their people skills. It is true. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And your ability to connect with people, such as in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, where I teach about the law of connection, where leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. Your ability to connect with people, your ability at level number 2 to relate well to people is absolutely huge in your success. Now, if you do that well, there's a high chance you can get to level number 3. Level number 3 is called the production level. And at level number 3, the key word is results. What you're going to find at level number 3 is people follow because of what you have done for the organization. They follow you, they follow me because of what we have done for the organization. Now, this is absolutely huge. In other words, they basically describe you kind of like this. Before John came to this organization, we financially weren't doing good. Our bottom line wasn't good. Our profit wasn't what it should be. Now, all of a sudden, the profit's getting good. The bottom line's a lot better. The morale's up. Now, when they start talking about you in terms of endearment and kind of with a sense of respect, you know that you're on level number 3 because the company is growing because you're leading. Now, at level number 3, the production level, something wonderful happens to your organization. At level number 3, momentum kicks in. This is where you get the big mo going for you. This is where you get this winning feeling. You get this winning environment, this winning atmosphere. You're kind of ready to take on anything that's in front of you. You're ready for a new challenge, a bigger challenge. Why? Because you're getting success now under your belt. People are feeling good about themselves. People are feeling good about you as the leader. A lot of self-confidence, good attitudes. All this happens at level number 3 when you begin to produce for your organization. Now, a lot of times, and sadly, I see this happen all the time in organizations, a lot of companies stop at level number 3. They think getting some bottom line profits and just having good morale is kind of the essence of what the company should be all about. But I'm here to tell you, as I teach leadership all across the country and literally internationally, my goal is not just to get you to level 3, because if you get to level 3, you're doing well, but there's so much more potential that you have. I want you to go to level number 4. In fact, it's my goal to get you to level number 4. You see, the 4th level of leadership, the 4th level of influence is the people development level. And at level number 4, when you're developing people, the key word is reproduction. Now you're beginning to reproduce yourself. In fact, I want to make sure you understand the difference in these levels. You see, at level number 4, the people development level, people follow you because of what you have done for them. Now notice the difference. At level number 3, people follow you because of what you've done for the organization. At level number 4, that people follow you because of what you've done. Now all of a sudden, you're developing your people. You're making them better. You're training them. You're equipping them. You're building into their life. You're adding value to them. But here's the difference. If I belong to the XYZ company, and at level number 3, you've been the leader now for 5 or 6 years, and we're making good profits, and we're all collecting some good dividends and decent salaries, the whole deal. I really follow you as a leader because of what you've done for the organization. But let me tell you, you come to me and you say, John, I want to develop you as a person. I want to develop you as a leader. I want to train you. I want to equip you. I want to make you better. And all of a sudden, you start as one of the leaders of the XYZ company. You begin to pour your life into me. Now, let me say something. 6 months, 8 months, a year from now, wow, I begin to grow. Man, my wife says, John, you're getting to be a good leader. And the people in my department, they're doing better with me, and I'm doing better with them. Now, let me tell you something. At level number 4, When you start developing me, and at level number 4, when you start developing the people in your organization, let me tell you what happens there. Just as at level number 3, momentum kicks in and the company's feeling good about itself, at level number 4, loyalty becomes a key factor. You see, at level number 4, because you're developing people, they become very loyal to you because they begin to see themselves and say, I am much better now than I used to be. I'm performing at a higher level. I'm getting a better return. And they'll look to you and they'll give you the credit. Now I want to stop here for a moment because my commitment in teaching leadership is to always get you to level. Because here's what I know. If you have the position or the title, and if you relate well with people and they like you and you like them, and so you get along so you can go along, and if you're getting good bottom line results to the company that you're working with, and if you're developing people, you are now beginning to layer your leadership in such a way that you have a foundation that you can do incredible things for yourself, for others, and for your company. And at level number 4, I've been privileged to be there for many years with a lot of key players in my companies. And I can tell you how I feel toward them and how they feel toward me, no feeling can replace. I love them. I believe in them. Their success becomes my success. I laugh with them. I cry with them. We take trips together. We enjoy being together. There's a relationship that you get at level number 4 that's much better than level number 2. And let me explain the difference. At level number 2, when we're having a good relationship, we just like each other. At level number 4, we not only like each other, we're having success experiences together. And we have stories to tell. We have victories to talk about. We have battles that we were in that we won. And we're just building a huge kind of group team resume of the successes that we've had together. And it's a great level to get on. Now, let me say something about these levels. Level number 1 is given to you. You join a company. Levels 2, 3, and 4, you must earn. If you do the middle 3 correctly, if you relate well with people, if you produce, if you develop others, if you do those first 3, if those middle 3 well, let me tell you what happened. Just as the first one is given to you by the company, here's what I love. The last level will be given to you by the people. For level number 5 is the personhood level. And the key word is respect. You see, at level number 5, people follow because of who you are and because of what you represent. In other words, let me explain it to you this way. You have done it so well with so many for so long that after a while you find they are literally lifting you on their shoulders. It's almost like the team does for a winning coach after they win a championship, and they pick them up and carry them off the field. To be truthful with you, if you do those first 4 levels well, there's a time when your people will pick you up. You never need to declare that you're on level number 5. The people declare it for you. It's a wonderful level to be on. Somebody says, well, how do I get to level number 5? It's very simple. Do the first 4 levels well. If you do the first 4 levels well, number 5 is automatic. Now, if I were you and I was taking these notes and I just listened to the 5 levels of leadership influence, the question, I would begin asking myself some questions, and I would begin to want to pull out some truths and principles that are huge. Let me give you 7 things I want you to know about climbing the steps of leadership. Number 1, the higher you go, the longer it takes. Now, I don't even think I need to explain that to you. You understand that, don't you? You don't get to level number 5 immediately. In other words, you don't walk into your company, get on level number 1 and say, oh, well, this is good on Monday. Could I be on level 5 by Friday? No, by Friday you get to find out how to get to your office without getting lost. It takes a while. Remember, we're not trying to microwave leaders. We're trying to crock pot them. This is a crock pot process. It's a fact that it's going to take a while for you to go from level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. It's going to take a long time. The second thing I want to share with you is this. The higher you go, the higher the level of commitment. And the higher the level of commitment is both your commitment to your people and their commitment to you. For example, if we go back to level number 1 for a second, when people follow you because they have to, they're not highly committed to you. They're not highly committed to following you. But every time you go up another level, your commitment to them and their commitment to you increases. That's why when people look to me and they say, John, I want to get a high level of commitment with my people. See, they're working on the wrong thing. They're working on getting commitment out of their people. They ought to work on climbing the levels of influence with their people. Because when you get to level number 4, the commitment is there. The third observation I would like to make is the higher you go, the easier it is to lead. Some people ask me sometimes, they say, John, is it possible for leadership to get easier? My answer is always the same. Of course it is. Every time you climb those steps, it gets easier. And let me explain why. Every time you climb a step, you have put another foundation underneath your leadership belt. So people at level number 4 that are with you because you've developed them, oh my goodness, they're much more quick to follow you than people who are just at level number 1. Fourth observation, the higher you go, the greater your success. The greater your success, the greater the success of the company. It just not only gets easier to lead, it gets a lot more profitable. Number 5, you never leave a level below, you build on it. Now, let's go back and look at the levels for just a second. And probably if I could, I would literally put lines here, because what I want you to understand is every time you go to another level, you're stepping and deepening your foundation. So as the higher you go, the more foundation you have underneath of you. And what I want you to realize is that you never leave level 1 when you go to level 2. You're still at level 1. You're just on level 1, but you happen to be also on level 2. So each time you go another level, when you're on level number 3, what it means is you're on level 3 with some people, you're on level 2 with some people, and you're on level 1 with some people. So here's what I'm saying is, when you get to the production side and you start producing results, you don't say, thank God I'm on level number 3. And I don't have to fool with that permission relationship level anymore. Boy, that was tough. I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore. Thank God, now I don't care what people think, I'm just going to produce. No. Remember this. If you ignore the level that you just left, that level will pull you down every time. Observation number 6. As a leader, you won't be on the same level with all of your people. Let me illustrate. Let's say you have 100 people in your company. All 100 of them are on level number 1 with you. Does that make sense? You've got the title, you got position. But when you go to level number 2, which is relationships, not all 100 people will go up to level 2 with you. There'll be a few that stay at level 1. So for teaching's sake, let's say that if you have 100 people at level number 1, let's say 80 people go to level number 2. 20 people stay behind. Okay, now those 100 people are still with you. They're just on level 1, but 80 of those people are on level number 2. When you start producing and giving results, not everybody's going to produce. Not everybody's going to give you results. So let's say, again, you leave some others behind. So you go from 80 to level number 3, you got 60 with you. When you go from level 3 to level 4, when you start developing people, let's say you only have 40. Now here's what I want you to see. At every level, you have different people with you. And the higher you go, the less people that you have with you in the levels of leadership. Does that make sense? Now, this is very important. And what makes this important is this. When you cast vision, many times I've seen this, where leaders, presidents of organizations, have cast a vision, and they get different responses from their people. In other words, they'll cast a vision, and one person says, my goodness, this is a great vision. I can hardly wait to roll up my sleeves. Another person says, boy, I can hardly wait to leave the company. And they'll come to me and they'll say, what happened? You know, I was in the same group with the same people at the same time, casting the same vision, and they have all these different responses. Now, here's what I want you to see. People will respond to your vision, they'll respond to your leadership based on the level you're on with them. Let me explain. I have 100 people in my organization. I have 100 people on level number 1 with me. I have 80 on level number 2. I have 60 on level number 3. I have 40 on level number 4. Now, let's say that I'm asking for huge commitment. Here's what I want you to know. The people up on these higher levels, they'll commit quickly and they'll commit deeply because they've taken the journey with me. The people on level number 1 who are following me because they have to, they won't be near as deep or near as committed to me as people on level 3 or 4. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
I want to make the final observation and then drive home the point. The 7th observation is you must work to carry other leaders with you up the steps. Very simply stated, it's important for you to take what I call your inner circle. In the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, one of the laws is the law of the inner circle. The law of the inner circle basically says those closest to you will determine the level of your success. You want to make sure you take them up with you, because if you take your leaders, your inner circle with you, they'll keep you there. I've seen times where leaders failed to take their key people up the levels of influence with them. And people follow them, some of them, but the key influencers, the leaders, the inner circle stayed down here. That's a bad scene. It's only a matter of time till these influencers will begin to pull you right back down. So ask yourself this question: am I taking my inner circle up the levels of influence with me? Am I taking the key players on my team up the levels of leadership with me? It's important for you to go up the levels, but it's important for you to take especially the key people up those levels with you. One more thought on the 5 levels of leadership, and then I want to do some teaching, especially on the 3 middle levels. I would encourage you, on your own, to really study the 5 levels of leadership. If you want to know more about it, I would encourage you to pick up a book that I wrote in 1993 called Developing the Leader Within You. I have a whole chapter just absolutely committed to teaching the 5 levels of leadership. I've had many people study the 5 levels of leadership and say, it changed my life when I began to understand that my organization or my company doesn't take me to the next level. I take myself to the next level. See, your future isn't based on your organization. Your future is based on you. Your ability to understand these 5 levels and how to go from step to step to get to the top.
All right, man. that now y'all understand why that's my best, one of probably the best personal development, in my opinion. Thus far, I mean, we have some great ones, some inspiring ones, you know, from leaders and all of that. But the reason why I love this one is because it definitely teaches you where you're at, where you want your team to be, how you lead people. This is important. And you know, I told you guys at the end, you're going to understand why I take inner circle seriously, you know, and I won't waver on inner circle. Like, there's many things that I waver on, but inner circle, I don't waver on it because I know that inner circle is who I'm spending the time with to develop and really pour into and really take them with me. You guys get my point. So run for that inner circle, because that is something that, again, you can't, and you're going to all have your own inner circles, but I'm letting you guys know that you got to take things seriously in the leadership. And again, you notice some things he said, and I won't get into too much of, because I got a lot of notes because I've done this before, but I learn every time I hear it, I learn something new, and I learned something that I need to work on, right? And so, Man, it's a lot. But does anybody have anything that wants to share something? This was a shorter video, but due to time, I wanted to give us a little bit more time to speak on it. And because it's such a meaty subject, and it's really going to make or break your whole career. You guys get that, right? No matter what you do, this will make or break your whole career. Like your whole life is leadership. Leadership in your homes, leadership at business, leadership in jobs. Everything is leadership. And if you don't get this right, we got to evaluate ourselves, So that's why I love this personal development session, because what John C. Maxwell talks about is applicable to everything, we do. So with that being said, does anybody have anything that maybe they gleaned from it? Or
I'll speak up. I hate to say this, but it does relate a lot to corporate America. But in the past that I've experienced going up the levels of leadership, as soon as you hit that leadership spot, then that's when the people are like, I'm just following you just because you're the leader, or I'm following you because, you have good ideas. So I had fought that for many years until I had the respect. And when you get that respect, that's when you get the respect of, for me, in my case, it was, the customer, everybody could trust you at a level to where your opinion matters. And we all follow you, Mr. Jonathan B, for a reason, because you've shown, an influence of leadership that's, maintainable, and it's can be duplicate, but on the relationships, to me, that's key. Really, really key. Relationships, getting to know each other in a positive way, and work on like what their skills are, what your skills are, and what you can do to help each other with your skills and build each other up, and getting to that point to where you're helping each other go to that level, and helping each other build each other up. And then of course, you want to do that with all of your members, but not all of your members may not want to be leaders. So that's another topic, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot. It's a lot to go over, guys, and that's why I cut it short, because this actual is like, this DVD, it costs like $500 for this DVD, more than the ACN opportunity. That's crazy. So for this whole DVD, if you had bought it when it first came out, obviously the price has gone down. But when you first bought it, it was like $500 to have this leadership. But praise God for YouTube, right? We're able to look at it, But I had to find
somebody gave one to me.
Yeah, but I found a shorter one, because I knew it's just a lot. And even in this short one, it's a lot. I mean, just to recap the levels, level one, if you're at a level one leadership, you're positional. People follow you because they have to, right? Level two is permission. Permissive it means, because they want to.
They want to.
Right? Level three is production, meaning you produce, right? You actually get results.
Because of what you have done.
Yep. You produce for what you have done, correct? And number four is, developing people. You're developing people. You're reproducing yourself and your leadership, right? And then level five is the pinnacle. There's a fun fact about level five, guys. Less than 1% achieve that level. If you read the book, it actually says less than 1% achieve that level, and out of all the leaders. So that's a whole nother level. So, but yeah, I just wanted to recap the levels. But does anybody have anything? Anybody else they want to say? Share something?
Yeah, I got a question. Number 5 on the last 7 rules he gave says never leave the level below, build on it.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to another, I'm tying in another training call where they tell you, you know, 80-10-10, you know, and I'm talking about specifically the IBOs that you're trying to be a leader for and build them up. Where would you say the fine line is? If you're being the leader that you would want, but the people aren't following, I understand where it says never leave a level below, build on it. But then how does that correlate to the 80-10-10? Where's that fine line?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So what he's talking about there is not actually just the people. That's not. He's talking about we started at level 1, then we moved up to a level 2, then we moved up to a level 3. You build on that level. So in other words, you don't leave. In other words, when you get to level 4, you don't say, well, forget about level 3 now. I don't need to do that no more. I need to stay at level 4. You know, you got to build on it. You know what I mean? You don't leave that level behind. It's something that you build on. So
Gotcha.
so that's what he means by that. But I know what you're saying. So he's not really talking about necessarily leaving people. He's just saying building on those level of leaderships that we have.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anybody else? I know it's a lot, guys. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, quite a
I,
bit. I'll jump on for a quick moment. What stood out to me was just like you said, JT. I've watched this before too, but every time you watch it, you get something else out of it. And back when I saw it the first time, I remember him saying that people don't care about what you know until they know that you care.
yeah, there you go.
And you say that a lot, especially about follow-ups. You know, when it's as far as for applying it to ACN, when you're doing a follow-up, don't sit up there and try to push the product. Really genuinely care about the person and check and see what they got going on and how you can help them and really care about them, and then you can bring them in. It didn't me the first time, but as I've been, you know, for years, I finally see, hey, you know what that is the lane. You know, you need to really talk to people and care about their situation. If not, you know, it's really useless. Just like when you tell people on your presentations, hey man, if this is not for you, man, keep that 199. If you don't care about people, you don't want to help people, you're not going to be successful in this business. So that's what really stood out to me, because, you know, at first it was all about, you know, hey, I need to get customers. I need to recruit people. But if you don't care about the customer, if you don't care about recruiting the people and their why, when you recruit them, they're not going to be successful because you're not pouring it into them and reminding them of their why. So that resonated to me today on this time watching. That's what stood out to me.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely, man. And you have to, you know, and he says, you know, touch the heart before you ask for the hand. You know,
Exactly.
before you ask for the 199 or before you ask for your IBO to do something, you know, you gotta hit them, you know, touch them in the heart. Like you gotta know, and you're right. It's really just about, do you know their why? You know, do you know what motivates them? You know, and all of that. You know, you got to know your people, which is part of that level 2, which is relational. You know, that Jesse was talking about. Being a level 2 leader. Yeah.
Precisely. Don't be a salesman. You know, don't be a hustler. Be a salesman. Don't be a hustler. They're not going to come back. Just like on that movie, I'm pretty sure everybody, well, just about everybody seen that movie, Baby Boy.
Baby Boy.
Baby Boy he was coming with the clothes and everything, and his mom said, hey, you know, you can be a hustler, but a real salesman goes in there and, you know, cares about their customer, and then you're going to come back. They're going to come back. They're going to want to call you. They're going to want to share that experience with somebody else, their friends, their loved ones. And we all know word of mouth is the best. You already know.
Yep.
It's the best.
Yep.
And word of mouth is the best sales. If somebody's referred you, oh man, it's done. Yeah. It's done. Word of mouth, the best advertising.
Yes, sir. So true. So true. Thank you. Anybody?
I have a question, JT.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so, and then the comment also. So influence, I don't remember who it was, like they were saying like influence can be taught, or do you think it can be taught?
If influence can be taught,
Yeah.
well, that's a good question. Um, for me, I would have to say that, yeah, it can be taught through development.
Yeah.
But, because a person from their past, you guys are looking at, JT today, okay? But JT ain't always been this way, right? So you didn't see me when I was doing some nonsense, okay? So I would have to say, based on my experience, that yeah, it could be taught, because I had to grow, I had to get better, I had to adapt, I had to learn my faults, learn my errors, and learn how to he said it actually in the training. Didn't he say you got to learn how to know people, learn how to work on your people skills. He talked about that. So yeah, I would have to say it can be taught.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I believe so too. And then, how about like if you've experienced building a team, losing a team, building a team, and I think that leaders on different levels have experienced that in different ways. Maybe you're at UTL and you've built a couple people, lost a couple people, RD, so forth. Just in my experience, like just really, taking the mirror and, like you said, development, like get grounded at the basics. You said, how like you're a systems guy and we're successful with our team because we have a system, ACN has a system, so forth. What would be like the system of self-development where you can actually like always go back to the basics of becoming a better leader?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So my system, the number one system I follow is the Bible and what the Bible says. That's my system. Okay, I can't speak for that. That's how I look, how I want to treat people, and people are gonna people. What I've learned is that even when people come and go, they respect you on a leadership level because of what you did for them, how you made them feel, you inspired them. And, I got a phone call today, from one of my leaders that he was like thanking me, for my leadership and helping him. And I was grateful for that, but I think that it's just, you just treat people the right way. Okay. And then there's going to be some people in their own head, this thing here, where they don't think they can make it, but our job is to help them. And as you rebuild your team, I always remember in this training with John C. Maxwell, when he talks about, the title, I struggle with that. And you guys know I struggle with that because I don't even, RVP is great. But it's not a title. It's not a title. It's a position. Yes, I earned, and thanks to the team. But just because you're an executive team leader doesn't mean you actually leading a team. Does that make sense? Like, just because regional director doesn't mean that you're directing regionally. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing the title itself is cool, but we know people that I'll be honest with you guys. I know some RD that operated way higher on a leadership level than RVPs. And I know some ETLs that operate on a leadership level way higher than regional directors. So a lot of times, I know this is more of a long-winded answer, but I guess what I would like to say is the leadership level that I was at when I first started, I lost some people because of my leadership level and my ability to go faster with learning my leadership. And that's why I lost people was because my leadership wasn't there like it should have been. Right. So I can only just speak from experience on that, and then you'll get some more leaders. And then guess what? When you get more leaders on the upper levels, when you get to those higher levels of your leadership, you'll gain those people. You'll gain those people that are at that leadership level.
So basically for you, it was just always going back to the Bible, personal
Right.
development.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they say go back to the system,
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the system to become a better leader, you would say would be like Bible and personal development, and just going through learning how to learning how to work with people, learning how to influence people, and giving yourself grace to say, this didn't work out, or maybe I lost this person because I was at this level of leadership, and but going back to the basics
Yes.
of learning and growing,
Yeah. So
and then going back to it.
absolutely. So Bible for me, and of course personal development, and then also another thing that I will tell you is humility. You have to be humble. If you're not humble, it will show, and if you're not willing to humble yourself, no matter what leadership you're at or what level you're at, you have to humble yourself. And that's where the learning you talked about, that's where the learning comes in, because then you humble yourself and you're like, man, I got to get this right. What do I got to do to get this right? Okay, so I'm going to learn. I'm going to go back and I'm going to learn and I'm going to get better. I'm going to do personal development. I'm going to look at John C. Maxwell, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas, and whatever to fix this thing here, I need to go do it. And that's humility, knowing that I don't have all the right answers, right? So, yeah, you go back to the basics, like you said. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then when you go back to it and there's a fight there, a lot of people just quit on themselves, on their lead. Like, they won't fight to be the leader that they need to be to continue the journey.
Right.
And there's such a great light and radiance about you when you go through the humility, and then you overcome and you fight. Like they said, it was like win the battles, right?
Right.
Like, because now you're putting on the scoreboard all these battles that you won together, and that's how also you gain their respect, is like, no matter how hard things get, you're just gonna fight through it, get better, and then your people, they're like, man, like, this is someone who fought the fight, and I'm respecting them, and going with the fight. Like, I remember, I think it's that movie 500, where it's basically like, if the leader's going to go and then jump off a cliff, are your people going to jump off the cliff with you?
Mm-hmm.
So that resilience of like really fighting and going through the fight. Anyway, thank you so much for this. I really needed it today.
No problem. And you know what trait I look for in people is gratefulness. I look for gratefulness. Honestly, guys, like, I'm going to talk about this in my promotion with RVP. I'm just super grateful, and I learned to have a grateful heart. And that's why I don't identify with certain things. And if it's okay, I can pour my heart out to you guys. I don't identify with people who are not grateful, and I don't understand things. I'm just honest with you. I don't understand things of people not being grateful. I'm grateful for this call. I'm grateful that my leaders poured into me. I'm grateful for my leaders that lost or they left. I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for my team that left. I'm grateful for those who came and went. I'm grateful for, I'm just grateful. And that is why I take things so seriously. I'm grateful for Friday night calls. I'm grateful for Saturday morning. I'm grateful for leadership on Mondays. I'm grateful. And because you stay grateful, these things you'll be excited about life. But as soon as you turn down that level of gratefulness, and then it under that underlying that, you'll end up in arrogance. You'll end up in thinking and then start treating people like you know, like you're not, like you don't care, you know? And so I just would tell you guys, just from me to you guys, just be grateful, you know, because like I said, we get this opportunity to do a call where we learn to get better as a team. And you know what's crazy? Some people will take it for granted. They'll say, "Oh yeah, we got on a call and yeah, JT talked and learned and people talked and then yeah, whatever." And that ungratefulness will not lead to success ever, honestly. And that's something that you have to fix here, you know. And so just be grateful. Be grateful for opportunities. And when someone is helping, be grateful for that, you know. So
Ah.
after that,
Was that the RVP message?
Ah! Oh.
RVP alert?
Mr. Thomas, JT.
Need you to speak, brother.
Tell us.
He's
give me a second.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Be patient.
Oh, yes.
No, can't
Oh.
be patient.
Oh my gosh.
Must know now. Oh,
wow.
While we're on the call, huh?
I can't see it.
RVP.
Wow.
RVP. RVP.
oh my gosh. I'm
Oh my
so happy for you.
Yay, yay, yay.
Congratulations.
That's what's up.
Man.
While you're with the inner circle.
Yeah, man. It's
Yeah.
There it is.
That's fitting right there, man. Congratulations, brother.
Wow.
you guys have no
I'm so
idea.
happy for you.
Oh.
Hey, now, brother.
All right. Are you gonna make me cry too?
Yeah, fam. It's all good. You made it.
We all
Made
can cry together, baby. Let's cry together.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
You understand? He's been waiting for this forever. Oh my gosh.
That's so awesome, guys.
Yeah, baby.
No.
Yeah, fam. We made it.
That's so
Man.
great.
This is incredible. Oh my goodness.
Glory to God.
I can't even see. Like, oh my gosh.
No, he jumped off. He's there.
Oh.
Oh,
Congratulations, fam.
wow.
Can you guys hear me?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Man,
All your hard work. We love you,
Hard work.
JT.
Oh my goodness. All your hard work. Yes.
glory to
You guys
God.
know that song?
We love
That
you,
song?
JT. Oh my God.
You know, it's interesting. You know, Lisa Oka Brown had sent me a message today. Say, hey, let's jump on a 1 o'clock call, and you know, let's celebrate. I say, well, I'm gonna be
Hello, Donna.
on a personal development with my team, you know, and they probably gonna want to join in. And then I get this message, and I just want y'all to know, like, I don't believe in coincidences. There was a reason that happened right now.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm super grateful for you guys. I really am. You know, it's been a lot of work.
We love you a lot, JT. It's
Been a lot of
so deserved.
Yep. Well
It's so
deserved.
deserved.
Well
And I'm
deserved.
thankful. I'm thankful I'm here. I really, really am from the bottom of my heart.
So,
That's
I'm
so awesome.
grateful. And you know, like I said, glory to God. I just now it's you guys' turn. You know, it's you guys, and that's my commitment to you. That's my commitment. And he said, you know, leadership level. Man, the fact that he's talking about this again, I'm just I'm lost for words because I know what God is doing. The fact that He gave this, we talked about leadership level, and this happened on this call when we're talking about leadership level.
It's not a coincidence.
Nah. And so I'm really grateful. I thank you guys for hanging in there with me. And, you know, it hasn't been easy.
Wow.
It hasn't.
Man, you've been everything they talked about since I joined. Everything that man said on the 5 levels of leadership in that video, you're the example of it, brother. And we all here because you covered every basis of the 5 levels of leadership and beyond.
Wow.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Like, for real. I appreciate you, man.
Love you, fam. You gave us a lane, baby. Residual weekend coming up, baby. You gave us a lane, man. You pulled into
Then
it.
on me.
Come on, man.
Then on me, y'all.
I'm so happy for you, Lamar, to be on here.
Man, come on, baby. We got checks coming in this weekend. Man, come on.
It is residual weekend. That's
Let's
for
get
sure.
it, baby. It's going down, man. Congratulations, man. Oh my God. Let's get
Yeah,
it.
it's residual weekend.
Come on.
It's finna
Yeah,
get
residual weekend.
Come on, baby. Look, we got people crying up here, man. Yeah, you touched everybody over here, man. I know when I see look, I checked my back office this morning. I was like, oh, yeah, RD is right around the corner. Oh, yes.
and we got more coming. You know, I look at everybody who's regional, like close to regional director. It's crazy, man. Like, we got a lot of people. And then y'all seen, Mr. Raphael posted today.
Yes.
And I was like, I didn't even know he was that close. Like, I was like, wait a minute. You only 120 points?
That's it.
Wait a minute.
That's
Like,
it.
wow. Y'all keep fighting. Keep fighting, y'all. Remember your why. That's all I can tell y'all. That's what keeps me going. That's my fight. I never forget that. And that's why I'm here today. And, you know, y'all will hear the full story of everything that happened. But when I tell you, like, the fight was a fight. It was a fight. You had people that, I mean, you did everything for, and they would backstab you. They would say things about you. They would, you know, you would still love them. I still love them. And you would help them, and I still help them to this day. But you would have people, you know, that loved you would leave you. And it's just the things that you go through. I want y'all to, I'm just being transparent. Like, you gotta know your why. You gotta know your why. That's the only reason why I'm here, is because I know my why. That's it. And if the why ain't big enough, you will quit. You will quit. And you gotta have that why that keeps burning inside of you.
Yeah.
You know, and it won't die out. And I looked at my why, you know, and which y'all know, my mother, you know, and just knowing that she never gave up on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that go a long way.
So she never gave up on me.
Definitely touched all of our hearts.
Right?
Yes.
So I never gave up on y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me get off this call before I I'm gonna post this.
You recorded it. You recorded this moment in history. You
It's been
recorded this
recorded,
moment in
so,
history.
yeah, so
I know.
it's crazy.
So do you guys know that song for "He's a Jolly Good Fellow"?
You're gonna make us sing?
Again, I thank y'all as a team, and I won't rest until y'all get to your goals and your dreams. You got my word on that. You know,
Appreciate that.
And some of y'all were on my prayer call earlier. Y'all know I'm willing to die. Y'all know that I'm willing to die for my cause, and I seriously mean it. I know a lot of people say that, but I really mean it. Like, that's why I'm here. I'm willing to die. Like I know what the cause of Christ. Like for me, I just want to serve, and that's it. And if you want to serve, you know, you got to be willing to do that, and for your team, and that's just me. So I'm willing to go to war with y'all. Whatever we got to do, let's do it. This ain't a pit stop. This is not just a sit here and pit stop for me. This was y'all's promotion. This was for everybody. This is a promotion that shows that, number one, you know, we got issues going on in justice with race and all this stuff. You know, we got COVID. We got all these things, and let the Lord made a way, man. Like,
Yes.
it's time. So this is just a promotion to show you that even when times are tough, hey, you still prevail. So I
Thank you for taking me under your wing. even if it's not anything for you or something. I really am grateful.
No, thank you, Ms. Joy. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Let me upload my text already.
Sure.
My sponsor text me. My sponsor. Oh, he happy too. Trust me. Got an RVP in his organization. That's crazy, man. So yeah, let's enjoy the day, y'all. We'll celebrate. Trust me, it's dinner on me. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna figure this out one way or another. But yeah, man, I love y'all. Let's keep going though. We still got work to do. So
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
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 Congratulations, brother.
thank
We
you.
love you, JT. Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
All right, y'all. Enjoy your day.
All right.
Okay, you too.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.